Welcome to Kiss the Reviews. I'm Armando, that's Corey, and today we're doing 1987's The Living Daylights. Before we get started, if you want to follow me or Corey on Twitter, you could follow me at Junior D's. You could follow Corey at Corey_idle. He's a better follow. If you want to follow the show, you could follow the show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Kiss the Reviews. And let's get into the cast of 1987's The Living Daylights. This film stars Timothy Dalton as James Bond, Maryam d'Abo as Kara Milovy, Jeroen Krabbé as General Koskov, Jodan Baker as Brad Whitaker, John Rhys-Davies as General Pushkin, Art Malik as Kamran Shah, and Andreas Wisniewski as Necros. I'll go ahead and apologize if I got any of the names wrong.
Or all of them.
Or all of them. The only one I got right was Timothy Dalton and Jodan Baker, I think.
Little do you know, that's pronounced Timothy.
Oh my God. So here's another installment of the Bond franchise. I can honestly say, and I've said it before, and I think we've only done one other, maybe two other Bond films.
GoldenEye, I think, was the only one.
Yep. I can safely say I've never seen this. I haven't been the biggest James Bond fan. When I was a kid, I would see these on, like, I don't know, TBS or whatever, and I'm like, oh, bang bang, shoot, cool toys. And as an adult, I look at these films as I watch them, and I'm like, this is just ludicrous. This whole thing.
Yeah, this is not only the worst Bond movie probably ever made. This is in the top 10 for me of worst fucking movies I've ever seen in my life.
There's a lot of there's a lot of craziness in this film.
Yeah, and the only person I really felt bad for Timothy Dalton.
Yeah.
Because he deserved a lot better. He deserves a lot better. But he's kind of rode this to a really good reputation throughout the rest of his career, so I don't feel too bad for him because I think he's eaten just fine. But at the same time, holy shit, dude. Like, I would have wanted to commit schmooicide if I had to play off of the other actors in this movie.
Why me? He's under the impression you're the best.
I watched this and I don't know if that was if that was what they were going for. Like, I know they insert humor into these films. You know, it can't just be, you know, blowing shit up for an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever. So I get it. You got to throw some comedy in it. But I don't think they meant for this to, and people's reaction, to be laughter the whole movie.
You were right.
There's a couple different scenarios here the writers went with. One of them is they went with the Game of Thrones theory, which is basically, if you don't know, the writers of Game of Thrones got very, very angry at the fans of Game of Thrones because they were like, where's this? Why isn't this happening? You changed this. How dare this happen? And so they just basically went, fuck this show. And they had no other books to go on, and they torpedoed the whole fucking thing.
Yes.
And they've so much as admitted it in interviews before. They were just like, yeah, fuck the fans. We did what we wanted to do after that. The other scenario is they didn't want to burn down the James Bond franchise. They just truly had no idea what it was. They've seen the movies, they've read the books, but they didn't fucking get it.
Yeah.
They were just like, guns and gadgets, and let's have some crazy stuff, and ski down slopes on cello cases with the dumbest female character ever written on the fucking planet.
Yes.
Which is also why this is so disappointing, because Bond girls are usually a myriad of different things, amalgams of the perfect woman, right?
Yeah.
They're badass, they're super smart, they're beautiful, they can fight, jump, kick, punch, throw a football over them mountains. They can do fucking anything.
Yes.
And with Bond, they're even better, and they make Bond even better. So this was basically, this could have been a 12-year-old. Like, when they started kissing in this movie, I wanted to fucking throw up because it looked like stepdad porn.
Well, with that said, let's just jump into this, shall we?
Mm.
So this movie opens on an airplane where 007 and some other agents are conducting a training exercise at a military base in Gibraltar. And an assassin disguised as an MI6 agent starts murking dudes. 007 sees it happening, so he gives chase, and we get a cool scene of James Bond fighting said assassin while they drive through the town and then over a cliff where Bond's chute opens and he lands on a nearby yacht with a beautiful woman on deck, takes the phone out of her hand, and then calls into the command center or whatever and says he'll report later. And then the woman offers him some champagne, and he said he's going to need an extra hour to report the things and stuff because it's boner time, fellas. Like, when you said the writers, like, didn't know, like, they'd watched some of the other movies and they just guns and chicks and whatever. This is a culmination of that writing. It was just like, fight. He goes over the thing, parachute opens. What happens? His parachute's over water. What happens? He lands on a yacht with a hot chick on it, and then he makes some sort of pun at the end, inserts a joke like, gonna need an extra hour because I take a long time to come. Like, that's what this whole scene is. Corey's life lessons.
Hi, Lotharios. Uncle Corey here. So you fancy yourself a lover. Guess what? Taking an hour to fuck is a waste of everybody's fucking time.
Yes.
The actual intercourse part shouldn't really take more than 10 to 15 minutes. In all honesty, everybody should have come or be close to coming during foreplay. And the second she comes, fellas, jackhammer and get the fuck out of there because everybody's ready to go home.
Hell yes.
If you want to play foreplay for like 45 minutes, that's cool. That's on you and your person. But the actual fucking should not take that long.
No, not at all.
And if you're James Bond, you ain't dipping into foreplay for 45 minutes. I'm telling you that right now.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Bond is then sent to Bratislava to help Agent Saunders conduct this defection of a KGB officer, General Koskov, and they're supposed to be covering his escape from a concert hall during intermission there.
Yeah, and this guy has the biggest stick up his ass that has ever been shoved in somebody's ass.
Yes.
He sucks. Just as a character.
Yeah.
He sucks. He's like, he resents Bond for being there, but he needs Bond because there's an assassin. And for some reason, he can just wear fancy suits and recite the rules to being a 00, but he can't actually take out an assassin while a guy crosses the street. That's too much because then, who would unlock the door?
Section 26, paragraph 5. That information is on a need-to-know basis only.
Listen, somebody's got to pass the tests on the rules, okay? And this guy obviously passed all those tests.
Rules were made to be broken when you're a 00.
Hey, that's what James Bond does. He breaks all the rules and murders people or whatever. But here, Bond notices that the KGB sniper assigned to prevent Koskov's escape is the female cellist from the orchestra. And Koskov ends up escaping to them as Bond shoots at this chick's gun, misses her intentionally, obviously, because if he kills hot bitches, he can't bang them later. Like, what's his nuts here? The other 00 is pissed, like, oh, you missed her intentionally. Well, yeah, I can't bang her later if I shoot her now. I saw her with a cello between her legs, and now I'm seeing her with a gun. He makes up some shit like, she looked like she was a rookie, and she wasn't holding the gun right. And what? Yeah, cool story, bro. You were like, I want that ass.
Yeah, and I think I have to just make this pledge right now as a feminist ally. Ladies, Uncle Corey here with an earnest pledge to you.
Okay, I won't laugh. I won't
As
laugh.
your thank you. This is very sincere. As your ally, I want you to know sincerely that if you are ever holding a gun in a sniper situation, I will shoot you directly through your fucking eyes. End of story. Just like I would every other man out there.
Absolutely.
I'm an ally, ladies. Let's get it done.
Bond then takes Koskov to this operating center of a Russian gas pipeline place, whatever, and they shoot him into Austria through one of the gas lines. And then Saunders and Bond cross the checkpoint by car as Koskov is flown out of Austria on a British jet.
What a country!
At a safe house outside London, Koskov lets MI6 know that the KGB's old policy of death to spies has been revived by General Pushkin. And an assassin sneaks into the safe house disguised as a milkman and abducts Koskov here. After killing and maiming several MI agents or MI6 agents with exploding milk bottles and a killer Walkman.
Yeah, and I just have to say this because I feel like we're really losing our sense of history here.
Corey's life lessons.
Hi, kids. Uncle Corey here. If a 6'8" Aryan-looking motherfucker walks up to your door, regardless of what they look like, if they're dressed like, their uniform, whatever, fucking kill them, bitch. That's an Aryan German psycho motherfucker. You don't play that shit.
Exactly.
God damn it. World War I, World War II, fucking the Cold War with these Russian bastards. Stop forgetting your fucking history, morons.
Yeah, and listen, if
6'8" blondes, blue eyes.
If you can't go back that far, okay, I get it. Some people were born later. They haven't studied their history. All you got to do is look at the history of porn. All the pee and poop and fetish porn, that all comes from Germany.
Jesus Christ, rent a movie. Watch Rocky IV. It's obvious who the bad guy is. They've been telling you this the whole time.
How many more hints do we got to give you?
Oh, hello, milkman.
I am
you look
only
like
here
a new
to give
milkman today.
I am only here to give you milk and listen to my crazy Walkman with Western music.
Psych voodoo! It's really strangulation device. Now you die.
So Bond here is then directed to assassinate General Pushkin in order to prevent any more deaths of spies and whatnot. And Bond goes to track down the cellist, Kara Milovy, and he discovers that she is actually Koskov's girlfriend, and then begins to suspect that Koskov's entire defection was staged. He also here sees Kara get arrested on the trolley. He searches the cello case that she leaves behind, finds her rifle, and it's loaded with blanks. So he convinces her that he is Koskov's friend and then persuades her to come with him to Vienna.
I tell you what, dude, all of this intrigue and espionage is just too much for me to handle.
It's too hot to handle. Too cold to hold.
I wish this were Ghostbusters 2. I fucking wish this were Ghostbusters 2. At least I get some Bobby Brown in the soundtrack. This is fucking all getting so ridiculous.
Yes.
That it's just, and again, it's allowed to be ridiculous because you are dealing with literally the dumbest female character ever written.
Well, they arrest her and then they immediately let her go. They talk to her for like 20 minutes and then they're like, cool, go, do your thing. And then...
Yeah, because she's like, I want teddy bear and spaghetti-o, please. I need nap time in Mama for Papushka. Like, get the fuck out of here. You're 14.
Oh my God.
This woman is a child. Like, I literally started wondering halfway through how far, like, what, I don't know what the spectrum is, but I think she's on it. I'm pretty sure she's on it.
Well, and this is where we get the 20-minute chase through the streets and then into the woods until they glide into Austria on her cello case. Like, up to this point,
I've got nothing to declare, dear boy. Do not try and cross an international border like this. You will be murdered. Please do not do this.
100%. But, like, listen, up to this point, there's a lot of ridiculousness going on. This is completely ludicrous.
Yes, we're gonna have to go right to ludicrous speed.
Yeah, dude, there's a thing in movies called stormtrooper aim, and this is it. Because if you notice in Star Wars, nobody ever gets hit because stormtroopers can't aim for shit.
Yes.
These Russian soldiers can't aim for shit. Look, the disrespect shown to Mother Russia in this movie is why Putin invaded Ukraine. He just watched this for the first time and was like, no, we must regain confidence. They think us weak. Invade Crimea. You're ours now.
Yes.
That's what happened.
I think you're right. I think that's the best theory we've had on this show since we started.
Yeah, for some reason I've not been asked to speak at the UN yet, and I don't know what's like. I could end this whole thing. I'm just gonna make wild assertions. I can end it. I'll end it all in 30 days. That sounds like Bernie Sanders. I can't do an impression to save my ass. What is wrong with me?
It's all right, because after this show, you're not going to be asked to speak at the UN. You're going to be asked to speak at the next QAnon meeting. So here, Pushkin then meets with the arms dealer, Brad Whitaker, in Tangier. He tells them that the KGB is canceling their arms deal arranged between Koskov and Whitaker. Bond here then sees Saunders, and he tells him that Koskov's defection was fake. Bond has Saunders look into the financial dealings between Koskov and Whitaker. And later, at a carnival, Saunders is killed by Necros at a cafe in the sliding glass door of said cafe.
I guess you'll have to follow the rules in heaven now, old boy. Chin chin. You'll be missed.
This has gone from now ridiculous to ludicrous to just straight batshit crazy.
Yes, and I was comfortable at ludicrous speed. I am not good with batshit crazy.
No. He gets smushed in a sliding glass door. Oh my God. Oh my God. And to cap this scene off, Bond sees the balloon with "Death to Spies" written on it at the scene, and he becomes so furious that he starts running to find the killer, but he just starts running around said carnival.
Mm-hmm.
It has no idea where the dude has gone. He turns into Tom Cruise here and just starts running.
He wishes he ran like Tom Cruise. I'll tell you that.
So Bond and Milovy immediately leave for Tangier, where Bond confronts Pushkin in his hotel room. Pushkin says that he disavows the spit spermy or death to spies or whatever it's called, and also tells Bond that Koskov is evading arrest for embezzling government funds. Dun, dun, dun.
More fiction, because you know the Russians had no funds at this point in time in history.
Yes.
They were wiping their asses with leaves. It was not good.
So during the trade convention, Bond fakes Pushkin's death, escapes with a couple of girls who are CIA agents, and they take him to Felix Leiter, where Bond finds out that Felix has also been investigating Whitaker's illegal arms dealings. And Milovy then contacts Koskov, who tells her that Bond is actually a KGB agent and convinces her to drug him so he can be captured.
And by convincing her, says, hey, he is KGB agent, won't kill you. And she goes, oh no, I think you're right, that makes sense. And then she just fucking does the thing.
You were right.
Dude.
And then later they're like, put her in jail. And she goes, I trust you. And he's like, yes, but you are stupid because you are 12-year-old and I fucking throw you away now. I no longer need. And she's like, oh no, James, I'm so sorry about leaving you.
I'm glad you just summarized the next half an hour of this film very succinctly. He's like, you're a stupid underage slut and I don't appreciate you. So this whole thing, she drugs Bond here. Necros takes her on the plane with Koskov, and he sees that there's a heart in a container after he wakes up, and there's diamonds around it, and that's how they're smuggling diamonds. And then they get sent to jail, as you said. And while in jail, Bond does his like little whistling keychain act. He beats the guards, they escape, and they also free another prisoner, Kamran Shah.
Yeah, and I'm just going to toss this in here real quick, because I think this is an important writing lesson.
Corey's Life Lessons.
Hi, screenwriters. Uncle Corey here. If you're writing a naive, childlike character who might borderline have a severe mental disability, and, you know, most of the time she's on camera, it's silliness and like hijinks and funny stuff, and she's mostly going hee 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 while James Bond is doing stuff. That's all great and good. Don't decide right in the middle of your film, though, that you're going to be like, you know what? Let's scare everybody with the shrape scene. Because the guard here is like, now you strip down and I have you, and I have not had Gil in a long time.
I haven't had a woman prisoner for a long time.
This is like a child's film at this. Like, 10 to 12-year-olds are appreciating this more than us adults are. So why don't we back off with that kind of weirdness in your writing? That did not need to be there at all.
No, it didn't. It didn't play. And like you said, this was very goofy.
Mm-hmm.
I would venture to say mannequin-esque as far as like silly jokes and yada yada, and then it's just like, now with the rapings, and it's like, well, where the fuck did that come from?
Yeah, pump your brakes, Weinstein. We don't need this shit right now.
With Shah's help here, Bond plants a bomb on a cargo plane carrying opium, but he has to barricade himself in because he gets seen on the plane, and Shah's men attack the base. Bond steals the plane. Milovy drives a jeep into the cargo hold, and just before the plane takes off, Necros jumps on, and then after he jumps on, Necros and Bond then fight on the cargo net, and Bond sends him flying to his death and deactivates the bomb. This scene, I'll say this scene was good, and for this reason. This was the most Bond scene in the film.
Mm-hmm.
As far as classic Bond goes. And I know I'm like, I'm not a big, James Bond fan. I've seen enough of these films. The cargo net fight, again, a little ridiculous, but a lot of these are. But this is literally the most Bond scene, for me anyway, in this film.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
So
it's
like
still dog shit, but it's it is the most Bond.
You were right.
I don't know. It again, like you said, still dog shit. But I was like, okay, at least this scene tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is kind of mishmashed, fucking all over the place.
Yep.
But
and it's just capped off. The ridiculousness is capped off by them doing the whole Jeep thing. Like, get in the Jeep and we're gonna do the parachute thing, and then they have to do like the Benny Hill fast forward, like, and the fucking Jeep flies out of the back of it. It's just, again, this is a kid's movie, and that's fine. You want to bring kids into the world of Bond. Prepubescent teens who may have still been reading books back in the 80s would have been like, cool, Ian Fleming, I'll check this out more.
Yeah.
And it would have been a decent introduction. But like, again, for people that had grown up with Sean Connery, Roger Moore, this was getting a little bit out of control.
Yeah, just like it's different but same. This is kind of like 8mm in that sense. Like, this was a lot. 8mm was a lot in like a good way. Like, that was a lot. This was a lot in the, like, I looked at my phone to see how much time I had left in this film at least 4 times. And after this whole Jeep thing where they go out the back and blah, 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 and I was just like, Jesus Christ. I picked up my phone. I was like, there's still some time left. Like, how many more double crosses and twists and turns do we have to take? Because I'll say this, it's a lot, just as far as a film goes. There are so many twists that don't need to be there in this movie.
Oh, yeah. It's so convoluted by itself. If you take away everything else, and it's just so fucking convoluted, and we're barely about to even touch on the Afghanistan of it all, that I literally wish I was Marianne Matthews from 8mm. I would trade places with her and be fucking raped and killed on film by fucking machine than watch The Living Daylights one more time. This beat The Living Daylights out of me. That's what this did.
Bond then here returns to Tangier, sneaks into Whitaker's home, and he finds Whitaker playing a game of Risk all by himself. And Bond and Whitaker then go at it. Bond kills Whitaker. And then Pushkin enters and arrests Koskov, who tries to convince him that Whitaker had been holding him hostage, yada, yada. And we get to the end of this film where Kara is now playing in a concert in London because she's on a world cello tour. She's got her bullet-riddled cello, and they keep focusing on the bullet hole for some strange reason.
Because it's a Bond film.
But, like, and she gets, after the show, she's glad-handing, and everybody's there to congratulate her. She's met by Shah, who didn't actually see the show, because he was like, sorry I'm late. Like, I didn't see anything, but I'm here to just say congratulations. And there's a poster that literally says, like, Cara Milvoy, cello world tour. How many cellists have been on a world tour? Again, we went from ridiculous...
Yo-Yo Ma? Like, literally Yo-Yo Ma?
We went from ridiculous to ludicrous to batshit crazy, and we stayed there. They just parked it in batshit crazy and then just rode this to the end. And after everybody congratulates her, Bond is not there because, you know, he's been reassigned on a new mission. And then Kara goes to her green room or whatever, and she sees Bond waiting for her. And the two make out, and the movie ends.
Again, this has such a dad-daughter feel to it. Like, I said, James not here still. And then he's like, what do you think? I'd miss this? Like, you're my daughter. I'd never miss your recital. And then she's like, oh, I'm no longer sad. I happy cry. And then they fucking make out. And it's like, ugh.
Now I do the gawk.
Again, I genuinely have to believe in my heart of hearts that as a writer or writers, that the original character of Cara Milvoy, or whatever her fucking stupid name is, was supposed to be a 12 to 14-year-old girl. And I think the studio said, no fucking way. And I don't mean any sexual way.
Yeah.
But they're like, there's no fucking way the next Bond girl is going to be a 12 or 14-year-old little girl. And they're like, yeah, it's not a Bond girl. It's just a girl.
Yeah.
And they're like, nah, bro. We need blonde hair, big lips, titties up there, ass up there, and we're good to go. Like, that's what a James Bond movie is. I have to believe that's the case, because she didn't do anything wrong in her acting.
Yeah.
Debabo or Debibi?
Debo.
Debo did nothing wrong in her acting.
She was like, "That's my bike, punk."
But it was either the director or the writing that her character was so phenomenally bad
Yeah.
that she was a distraction in every scene.
And it didn't matter if she was the best actress on the planet. There was nothing that she, as an actress, could do to save that role.
Yeah. And again, it was disrespectful to Bond girls everywhere. And there have been some phenomenal Bond girls, like iconic Bond girls, even up to this day. And we're still just like, here's this one.
Yeah. No,
fucking waste of time.
No, absolutely. And by the way, you were like, Kara, whatever her name is. I'm pretty sure I called her Kara for half of this review and Kara for the next half. So I wasn't sure, so I split the difference.
We call her Black Widow.
But can I be honest with you? I obviously didn't think this was a good film.
But
I know, right? But I still, you've been talking and I've been talking and we've gone back and forth and I'm still 15 minutes in the past and I'm still laughing about Saunders getting killed in the sliding glass door. I have not been able to get it out of my head.
You know what I just remembered? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, if I leave anybody with a word of advice about this film, because I haven't done any don't do that, but here's one.
Don't do that, it's not good for you.
Hi, filmmakers and studios, directors, writers. Don't do this movie. Whatever they do here, don't do this. The fact that we have done a whole review about this film, funny, not funny, this was ridiculous, this was ludicrous, whatever, all goes out the window because I can't stop thinking about one ridiculous murder in this film of a dude getting killed in a cafe's automatic sliding glass door. Just don't do any of this.
You were right.
I am slightly embarrassed because I was just talking like this was the end of the review, and I realized we haven't even made it to fucking Afghanistan yet. There's 45 minutes left in this movie.
No, the movie's done.
I'm exhausted.
Done. I skipped over Afghanistan.
Did you? Okay, that's what I thought.
Because it doesn't matter.
No,
because
the only thing we have to say about Afghanistan is truly this. We literally see how Osama bin Laden started.
Yes.
This is it. They free him from a fucking jail. He's part of the fucking rebels. And they fucking arm him and provide him with aid. And then you know what they do when it's all over? Peace out. Have fun rebuilding your country, you poor fucks. And then there he is. Yeah. This guy was literally Osama bin Laden. It was the fucking weirdest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Because this was made about 5 years before Osama bin Laden started doing any kind of Osama bin Laden shit.
Yeah. No, I skipped over it because it was, this was the scene where they were loading up the plane with the opium and yada yada. It didn't seem relevant. The whole scene from them loading the opium to the plane, him heisting the plane and the Jeep of it all and all of that stuff. It just didn't seem relevant to anything in the film. So I was just like, I didn't even mention Afghanistan. I was like, loading opium, takes the plane, Jeep of it all. Let's move on. Because that scene or those set of scenes should have been 60 seconds. So I basically did the director and the writers a favor, and I made the scene 60 seconds.
Yeah, well, I will do them a disservice then and remind the world that they basically just showed us how Osama bin Laden got his start. So
fair enough. Fair enough. No, dude, at the end of the day, this is not a good film. I will probably never, ever watch it again. I appreciate the donation to do this review. But yeah, I'll probably never watch this again.
No, I'm making myself a bleach and rohypnol cocktail after this to wash it completely from my memory. I may not watch the review of this. And it's our show.
Well, yeah, let us know in the comments what you thought about this one. But that's all I got. You got anything else?
Jesus Christ, no.
All right. Well, for Corey, I'm Armando. This is Kiss the Reviews. And this was 1987's The Living Daylights.